Well, it's Monaco, baby. Yeah. Um, yeah, Monaco's had some fantastic races, and it's really good to see that we're back in the Principality. And yes, we're 25% into the season. Excuse the jazzy shirts. I've had a very, very busy weekend at the DTM. Fantastic hospitality, fantastic people I've met as well, which I'll be posting on the blog very soon, or The View. And it gave me an opportunity to practice my German, and I can safely say that things have worked out very well, a lot better than expected, but more to be revealed soon. On not just Alex's View, a fantastic weekend all around, and I'm really, really happy with what the future's going to hold for me, getting into motorsport as a journalist. So stay tuned. Right, back on track with Formula One. Yes, the tight and twisty nature. Yes, it's a difficult circuit to overtake. Now, obviously, DRS is heavily restricted around here, so we may not see so much artificial passing. Drivers might take more risks like Hamilton did in 2011, but probably not push it out as far. You've then got to take into consideration the tyre strategy, the team strategy, whether they're going to try and save tyres. We could see a repeat of obviously what's been happening so far all year, that people go and do a banker and then come back in. It's difficult to say with pit stops. It just depends on whether the teams get the pit stops right on the day. So that's another big factor. Who can forget the risk that Alonso took in FP3 in 2010 and wrote off his Ferrari F60. F150. That was I think it was an F60. I can't remember which Ferrari it was, but he wrote the car off and started from the pit lane, but had a good race. If you just even utter the words Monaco, everyone knows what Monaco is to Formula One. It's the glitz, it's the glamour, it's the jewel in the crown. And as previous years have shown, well, the majority of them, let's not forget the 2010 Mark Webber won the Monaco Grand Prix but did not win the F1 title. Jenson Button the year previously for Braun GP won Monaco and won the title. And last year, Sebastian Vettel did it for Red Bull. So you can understand that, the atmosphere is second to none. One of my friends actually works for Sunseeker Boats, and he says that the view that he has out of the apartment that he stays in whilst he's in Monaco working for Sunseeker is that it's just opposite the paddock, the pit lane complex. But you have a view going down the straight, most of the way down the straight, down to Saint-Devote. And he says that the view that he had last year was just amazing. It was mind-blowing. It was electric seeing the battle unfold between Button, Alonso and Vettel, until we had that nasty accident between, I think, Al-Khashwari, Petrov, to name but a few laps before the end, and then obviously it was a foregone conclusion. So Monaco can prove that racing is exciting, and I'm hoping it's going to be the same this year. Monaco is Monaco. You can't put it any closer than that. You have the beautiful women, you have the multi-billionaires, you have the immensely huge and very expensive 300-foot yachts plus hypercars. You've got the Ritz. You've got you've got so much heritage and so much joie de vivre, I think is probably the term I'd probably use. But it's also a sign that Formula One, Monaco, glitz and glamour goes hand in hand, especially at such a great event. My favourite corner? Well, I've got a top three. I'm sorry to do this, but I think, you can... There's so many great corners. You've got Casino Square, Raskas, Tabak, the Tunnel. My top three, starting in reverse order, would be the Tunnel. And who can remember when Adrian Sittel got hit up the backside by Kimi Raikkonen? I think it was 2000 and 2008 or 2009, and Sutil was placing a very respectable fourth until he got punted off by Kimi. So that's an action-packed corner. I mean, Massa last year slammed into the wall. We had Hulkenberg the year before, but then obviously we had we had that nasty crash with Sergio Perez last year, and also Nico Rosberg was quite fortunate at missing the central reservation. But Jenson Button had a nasty accident in 2005 and had to set out a few races. He was battered and bruised after that one. Second, I'd have to say Raskas, because it's a very slow, very technical corner, but it's been scenes of controversy that we've seen there, including one Michael Schumacher, where he parked it, and then we all know what happened then. He started from the pit lane. But first, Saint-Devote. Because it's a very, very ballsy corner. Excuse my terminology there, but that's what it is. It's a ballsy corner. You've got to have the gumption to, it's sort of like you're going down the straightaway 150, 160, maybe 165 miles an hour at a push, and then it's an instant right king up the hill. It's a very technical corner, and obviously that's been scenes where we've seen Vettel hit the tyre wall, we've seen Hamilton hit the tyre wall, we've seen Hamilton punt Maldonado off last year. So it is a very, it's one of those corners where you just think there's not enough room for a Formula 1 car to get in there, but they get through there. One, yes, but two, no, as Pasta found out last season. My favourite ever... it's 2 years that I'm tied up between. I think, really, as a Button fan, I would have to say 2009, where Jenson was just on fire. Last-ditch qualifying attempt, gets pole, gets the win, and then does the iconic run down the pit straight in his race suit and his helmet. That for me is a close second. But last year, I would have to say, was probably one of the most. It was the most exciting battle between drivers for a win at the Principality, and that beat Mansell versus Senna. I think it was 91 or 92, where Senna was comfortably leading, and then Mansell had a charge out of nowhere, put on a fresh set of rubber on his Williams FW14, went after the Brazilian and nearly got him, but then Ayrton had the measure of him because his tyre, he made that McLaren as wide as humanly possible and managed to fend Nigel off, but it was a very close finish. So really that's my answers this week for FanFormula. Next week, the Jazzy shirt collection will have another edition for you, and it's multicoloured too. So I hope you all enjoy this weekend's Monaco Grand Prix. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be an absolute belter, and let's see if the Pirelli tyres, the lack of aerodynamic downforce, brings another surprise and another twist in the story of the 2012 Formula 1 World Championship. And as they say in France, à bientôt.